Good afternoon, my wonderful student. How are you doing? I hope you are doing very, very fine with your parents. At this particular time, I want you to pay attention to these important topics so that you can refresh your memory again. We are looking at the topics turnover. Turnover can also be referred to as sales or net sales. I will explain. When we talk of sales, sales is simply the total value, of the sales of the organization during an accounting period. Accounting period is normally 12 calendar months, that is 1 year. But we use turnover, which refers to net sales instead, because sometimes after the total sale, there may be return inward. And what we mean by return inward is that the customer may order for goods from the supplier. After supplying the goods, he might decide to, some of the goods do not meet his requirement. He returns those goods back to the supplier. So when he is going to pay for those goods, he is not expected to pay for those one. He has to return back to the supplier. And that is what we refer to as return inward. Normally in business world, when goods are returned like that, a credit card is issued to such a customer, because in this business world, there is no need of cancellations of the invoice. So, turnover, by definition, is simply the total net sales of a business during a particular period, e.g., 1 year. As I earlier said it, 1 year, that is the accounting period. In other words, it is the value of the total sales of an organization during an accounting period. So simply, when we talk of turnover, we use this equation. Another word of defining turnover. Turnover simply means total sales less return inward. Total sales less return inward. That means total sales minus return inward will give us what we call turnover. Then we have what is called the rate of turnover, which is the numbers of time the value of average stock of a business is during a period. It is the numbers of time the value of average stock of a business is during a period. It is normally used to investigate the market sources of the output of the firm. So the rate of turnover varies, as we will see it in this study. But before I forget, let's quickly look at factors affecting turnover. What are the factors that are affecting turnover? As we have seen that, having understood the meaning of turnover as the net sales of the business in accounting period. So factors that affect turnover are the following. The first one here is reduction in price of goods. And what we mean by reduction in price of goods is that affect turnover in this way, because when the price of goods is higher, such goods, the sales will be less. But in a situation that the price of the goods is lower, we expect more sales, more turnover. So that is number one factors that affect turnover. Then the second one talk of goodwill. Goodwill, which also means reputations or the good names of the business. So reputation of the sellers affect the turnover. If the seller has a good reputation, he will sell more. Then type of goods is another factor that affects turnover. And what we mean by this type of goods is, for example, foodstuff will have higher turnover as compared with electronics. Then we have also advertising. Advertising, publicities, and sale promotion increases turnover because it creates awareness about the availability of the goods. Then when the business is also located near the consumer, then the turnover will also be high. We also have another factor such as constant availability of goods. When goods are always, such goods are always available. There are goods that are seasonals. But when you have a constant good, and you know that the customer know that they can get there every moment, they can get such goods, then the turnover will also be high. Then credit facility. What we mean by credit facility in this sense is that when the seller is ready to offer credit to the customers, then we have more customers who are interested to buy goods from such a seller. Then the last but not the least here is the varieties of goods sold by the seller. In a situation that you come to a shop and you have different type of goods available, that will attract more sales than when you come and you can't get what you are looking for. You have to go to another shop to look for what you are looking for. So these are the factors that affect turnover. Then quickly we look at the ratios which involve in turnover. Among these, before we talk of using the ratio that involve in turnover, there is the need for you to be able to prepare what is called trading profit and loss account. And in trading account, these are the key things we normally want to get. The first thing, talk about the cost of goods sold. So for the trading account also, we also get our gross profit. We also have what we call the net profit of the business. The difference between the gross profit and the net profit is that the gross profit is just the total sale minus the cost of the goods sold will give us the gross profit. But the net profit is when you have removed other expenses that are involved in the sales of that goods. So these are very important in these ratios. So we are looking at the ratios that involve in turnover. Among these, the first one we have what we call margin or margin. Margin is simply a relationship between the profit, that is the gross profit, and the selling price. And it is normally expressed as a percentage of selling price. So margin, we use the formula for calculating margin as margin is simply calculated by using this formula. That is gross profit over the selling price times 100%. That was what the definition said. I repeat again, it said it is a relationship that exists between the gross profit and the selling price, which is expressed in percentage. While we also have markup. After the margin, we have markup. Just like margin, markup is simply a relationship that exists between the gross profit and the cost of goods sold. And that was the reason why I told you that for you to come into this ratio, you must be able to prepare what is called your trading profit and loss account. So the relationship that exists between the gross profit and the cost of goods sold is regarded as markup. And it is also expressed as a percentage of the cost price. So we use gross profit over the cost price times 100%. Times 100%. Then we also have the net profit percentage net profit as a percentage of turnover. As a percentage of turnover, which is simply calculated by using the net profit over the turnover times 100%. And we have also number 4, that is gross profit as a percentage of turnover. Gross profit as a percentage of turnover. And the formula in calculating this is as simple as gross profit over the turnover times 100%. Then finally, we have expenses as a percentage of turnover, and the formula is expenses over turnover times 100%. These are the formula used in calculating the ratios that are involved in turnover. Then before then, we are going to take a practical question in order to solve, a practical question that we'll use it to solve, problems in this.